up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back, everybody. We got another special issue of Kerrang, number 18, released for June 17th through the 30th of 1982. What were you in 1982? 80s heavy metal was in full swing, but it was about to explode in one more year. We're not there yet, and this is 1982. We got the big bands, obviously, Judas Priest. We got Kiss. We got Van Halen. But all the smaller bands that were playing the clubs on the West Coast, the circuit, they're about to get signed or in the studio right now, about to release their records and explode all over MTV. Wait for it, wait for it. All right, here we got Kerrang featuring Robert Plant with an ice cream cone. World exclusive with Robert Plant. Again, if there's any interviews on any of these magazines you want me to read out loud with you one-on-one, I'll be happy to do that in a follow-up video so we can see what they were talking about, discussing about in the interview one-on-one. I'll just read it out loud with you guys, and it'll be fun if you're interested. All right, this issue is awesome. Look, we got Journey, Randy, California. I never heard of Randy, California. Rods, never heard of Rods. Now, I must have lived in a cave, obviously, but this magazine was released in the UK. So these bands I just never heard of, except for the big bands. All right, then we got Riot. We got Y&T. Y&T was awesome. Stones, that must be for the Rolling Stones, right? Motorhead, Iron Maiden. Bernie Torme, remember he played briefly with Ozzy to replace Randy Rhoads? This is probably catching up with him to see what he's up to. Van Halen, okay, this is Van Halen in support of Diver Down, right? Cheap Trick, Rory Gallagher, Blue Oyster Cult, Queen, Heart, Joan Jett. Now this was hard rock. Now a lot of this was hard rock mixed with heavy metal, right? Just started getting heavier and heavier. Because I remember by 83 now, you start getting bands like Loudness, Quiet Riot, Motley Crue, Def Leppard. You got Ronnie James Dio. And then you got the Scorpions and the big bands. And soon you're going to have Queensryche. You're going to have Autograph, Black and Blue. And you're going to have all these amazing Dokken and Rats. You're going to have, I can go on and on, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Right now I'm just giving you the best of 80s metal here at KGTR. So go ahead, click subscribe, hit that notification bell, because every day we're going to give you something new, something fresh, take you back to the 80s, and you won't get that you won't get that anywhere else but here. I'm just joking. There's lots of room for everybody. There's a lot of great content out there. I'm just another little channel out there giving you what I can for the best of 80s heavy metal. So if you want to join me and reminisce and have fun and get some guitar tones, guitar lessons, guitar licks, concert reviews, magazine reviews, you came to the right place and have some fun. And you get to know me, I get to know you, and let's get back to this issue. Let's open her up. Remember, what's up? What's up? What's up? Remember Martin? Remember Martin? What's up? I don't have a voice anymore, so excuse that. All right, here we go. Mayhem. All right, tour news. Again, I don't know if they're limited with paper or money or budget, because look how small this font is. I'd have to bring it up. Now, I'd be happy to, again, print some of these pages out and read it, but I'm not going to be putting my face on the computer that close. And I can't blow it up that big. I can try to look, watch. If I blow it up, you lose it, see? It shrinks it. But look, here's this. It's just hard because the way I'm set up. That's just too bad, right? Right, so here's Mayhem giving you the latest ins and outs and the latest buzz. All right, Running Back with the Devil. So obviously this has to do with Van Halen, right? Running Back with the Devil. Where are they now? Look, Kiss winner. I can't read that. Pretty soon, something. The Man. The Snapshot. Again, excuse me if it's too small. But that's just the way they printed Kerrang. All right, Escape to Victory. Here's Journey. Now, Journey was already big in 81, 82. They had hit after hit after hit. He could sing. He could play guitar. His keyboards were out of bounds. And they were all over MTV, all over FM radio. And they were good. They were very, very good right there. So here we go. Steve Gett talks to Journey's Neil Schon. So you want me to read this out loud? I'll be happy to do that in another video. Look at this. Beautiful Gibson Les Paul. This may be the one with the Floyd Rose. I believe so right here. So I think this one's got the Floyd Rose. All right. Again, another Gibson Les Paul. This one's got looks like it has a what's that pickup called? P90 right there. I could be wrong. It looks like a P90. But Neil Sean can shred. He can shred. Underrated, but he can shred. All right. Nice and Dirty. New album and cassette by Rage. So let me know if you remember the band, heavy metal band from 1982 called Rage. Nice and Dirty. And again, if you haven't, just go to YouTube, type in Rage, Nice and Dirty. You can probably find that record and some of their singles out there and see what. Let me know what you think about Rage, the band. Captain Copter is grounded. All right, here's Captain Copter. Ooh, what a weird strat style. Look at this. Humbucker, humbucker, humbucker. He's got two cream pickups right there, right? He's got two cream humbuckers right there, and a black humbucker right there. So he's doing something with his Stratocaster. So John Tobler talks to Randy California. So this is Randy California. Remember? So type in Randy California 1982. You can probably find him on YouTube. Right? God's Gift. Even if Y&T for Yesterday and Today think so themselves. So Y&T is good. Dave Meniketti, he can sing and play guitar. And the fact that he can do both, that's amazing. I have all their catalog at Y&T. And sometime later this year or early next year, I'm going to have a big surprise for you with my project concerning Y&T. But that's for another video. Alright, before you go home, turn out the lights at our price. Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams was huge all over MTV, so check out Bryan Adams. Before you go home, turn out the lights at our price. So for $3, for $3.99 pounds, I think this is a pound, right? You can buy that album. Alright, Electric Gypsy, let me know. Ex-Gillan, ex-Blizzard of Oz, and now fronting his own band, Bernie Torme tells of the escapades. So remember Bernie Torme replaced Randy Rhoads? Briefly, here he is with his own band. Right, Bernie Torme. So now he's obviously got over the grief of playing Randy Rhoads stuff. Here he is now playing his own stuff. And let me know what you thought about Bernie Torme as a guitar player, singer, songwriter. All right, look at this. Okay, again, look at this. Beautiful Fender Telecaster. This is 1982, right? I don't know what year this is, but look, one of the early versions with the Paisley pickguard. Again, one of the rare. I always wanted this check, black and white checkered guitar strap. I should go look it up. But this is total Rick Nielsen. But this is a beautiful guitar. I don't know if it's like oranges or red, kind of the photograph, but it looks like a Paisley red faded Fender Telecaster. Looks sweet. Right? Spot the Looney. Mental Ward. Steve Getz talks to Cheap Trick's Rick Nielsen. So if you're interested in this interview, I'll be happy to read it to you. Right? Contact. Again, your favorite bands, artists. Look who's this right there. Accept. Accept was good. They were really popular in the UK, in Europe, and then they got really big in the US. Accept. Balls to the Wall. I don't know if that was released yet, but it's about to be released if it hasn't already. So I don't know what year that was released, Balls to the Wall. But Accept was good. They're very heavy. I do know of Accept. Blue Oyster Cult has risen from the grave. Blue Oyster Cult. They're very popular in the mid to late 70s, and here they are chugging away in the early 80s. Still staying relevant, along with bands like Heart, Joan Jett, Cheap Trick. Remember they came out kind of pop with the Kinks, Cheap Trick and the Kinks. They had these pop rock hits, and then it transfers over to the 80s. Right? I'm a Rocker. Riot's new singer, Rhett Forrester. Yeah, Rhett Forrester outlines his credentials to Dante Bonut. Right, so here he is, the new singer for Riot, right there. I think I've heard of Riot. I'm not mistaken. I have to go double check on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube. So all these bands you've never heard of, but you're curious, just type them on YouTube. You'll find either videos or their albums. Everything's on YouTube, dude. Hot Dog, The Rods, again, another band I need to check out. Look, he's giving us the finger right here. He's giving us the finger. So here's The Rods, Burning Torme. These are cut, so they're recommending these records. Hanoi Rocks. I remember Hanoi Rocks. Hanoi Rocks was good. Riot. Rage. I never heard of Rage. Heart. Everybody knew of Heart. Barracuda. Take Heart. New album and cassette. I love that. Remember that? Those ads on album and cassette. Private Audition. So Heart was good. Robert Plant. Again, if you're interested in this exclusive interview for 1982, I'll be happy to read it out loud in another video. But again, they caught up with him in 1982. Remember, there's no more Led Zeppelin, but they're each doing their own solo thing. Again, more on Robert Plant. Are probably asking him, why'd you break up? What's new for you since the breakup? What do you got planned in the future? Blah, blah, who are you listening to? Are you still in contact with the band? You know what? That's what they're asking him. Right? Again, forgive me. Look, this is where the staples would go. And this would have been a fine poster right there, right? You would have pinned it up on your wall or your locker. Right? Leonard Skinner right here. Freebird. We got more on Robert Plant. So it's a big interview with Robert Plant in this issue. Look, the Led Zeppelin discography as of 1982. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The records I had were these two right there. I didn't have these. My friends had these up on top, but this was my favorite one. Oh, 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 oh. The opening drums on that was awesome. And the Immigrant Song. Wasn't the Immigrant Song on this one too? But the Immigrant Song is probably my favorite Led Zeppelin song. That one was hard. When you turn it up, the Immigrant Song was my favorite and is my favorite Led Zeppelin track. Now, obviously, they got the big ones, Stairway to Heaven and whatnot, and Kashmir, but the Immigrant Song is my favorite by far. Look at this. Look at the records right here. So these are all the records to date up until 1982. Grab a copy at all costs. Look, Aldo Nova is the man. Aldo Nova is the album. 10 big helpings of heavy rock already in the U.S. top 10 album charts. Yeah, he came out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Fantasy. I just remember roller skating. At the roller skating, and you heard Fantasy. Everybody was out there roller skating. At the beach, on the boardwalk. Again, on buses, boomboxes, parks. Radio, you always heard Fantasy. If you were there, you remember Fantasy. It was awesome. And the guitar solo was good. You always had to turn it up for the guitar solo. Okay, what's this? Queen Heart. Teardrop Explodes, Joan Jett, and the Blackhearts. Marillion, alright? These are up-and-coming concerts. Right? Wishbone Ash, Rory Gallagher. The Rods, again. New single, You Keep Me Hanging On. So someone's got to look up The Rods and look them up on YouTube. Let me know what you thought about The Rods. Splash with Flash. Here's these guys now are in their 40s. Led Zeppelin. I had Led Zeppelin on the brain. Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones. These guys are in their late 30s now, early 40s, still touring. By then, these guys were old, right? They were old. The 60s were over, man. The 70s were over. Why are you still here? Right? There's no room for you. But they're like, we're not going nowhere. There's no more Beatles. The Beach Boys were still touring. But the Rolling Stones and the Who. The Rolling Stones and the Who back in 1982 were like, we're old by the 80s standards. We're dinosaurs, right? Because they were popular in the 60s and 70s. But they should have disappeared now and retired by the 80s, right? You just do. But they didn't. They kept plugging away. And to this day, I think they're still playing in some form or fashion. So good for them. Who are these guys? And what are they doing in Kerrang? Okay, look. Remember that famous video off of Diver Down right here? Here we go. Look at Eddie Van Halen. Now, what do you think about this video? Was it corny? Was it cheesy? Were you just happy because it was Van Halen? But I remember you were lucky to get any footage of Van Halen. The only live footage you can get was on MTV. Hear About It Later, and those other tracks that you can find on MTV. You'd be lucky to catch Van Halen live. But these videos were awesome. Right? Did you guess Van Halen? So look at this. This was a corny video. You can come back and look at it. It was funny, but it was cheesy. But they did something different. But it was Van Halen, dude. It was Van Halen. If I Had a Hamer. Look, Hamer guitars, look. So, if you guys want me to talk about guitar maker Paul Hamer's got loads. So this, I'd be more than happy to read to you guys if you want. But that's one of the rare interviews on Hamer guitars. And so I was just talking about Hamer, right? And Rick Nielsen's probably his biggest customer. Right? Look at this poster. This one was a great poster, right? Look. Iron Maiden right there. Look at that. But Tony had to tear it up. Look. Iron Maiden right there. There aren't Bruce Dickinson. They're already getting big. They're already getting big. Bigger, right? Look at that beautiful Ibanez right there. I think they were on MTV too. Alright, Armed and Ready. Virgin Steel. I heard of Virgin Steel. Mortal Disguise. I have not heard of Mortal Disguise. So they're recommending these new bands. Crosswords, Rory Gallagher, Big Guns. Right, Pen Pal section. We all know about Pen Pals. Tour news. Who was on tour? Whitesnake. I can't read that. That's my only problem with Kerrang. This is the print is so damn small. Look, Bernie Tomei in bits and pieces. So that's pretty good though to come in and fill Randy Rhoads' shoes, or try to. But they make you play his pedal board, his guitars. That's kind of eerie, right? To play his pedal board and his guitars. Right? More classifieds right here. We know all the ins and outs of the classifieds. We just want to show you what was in this magazine, right? Some advertisements, paraphernalia. Look, t-shirts, guitar, magazines right here. Learn the songs. Guitar Heroes, Rory Gallagher. Look at this. Look at this distressed guitar. This was naturally distressed. I don't think he did this himself to make it distressed. I think this is just like years and years of wear and tear. That's like your main guitar. You play it so much, you don't care if you ding it, scratch it up. The more nicks and scratches it has, the better, right? Before it's like, oh darn it, oh it's chipped. But now you want it to look aged and relics. So I think this was naturally relic from him, playing it all the time. And then people copy that. Isn't that weird? This was like, damn, that's a beat up guitar. Where's the super glossy finish? Where did it go? And now, what, 40 years later, people buy relic guitars. We relic them, or we want to make them look aged and old. And we only play in our bedrooms. I'm a bedroom guitar player, and I bought a relic guitar. And all my other guitars are super glossy and nice, and I want to keep them that way. And if I chipped it or banged it, I'd be like, fuck, damn it, it's got a chip. But you don't mind having a relic guitar where you can just bang it. Oh well, it looks good. Alright, look at these pictures. Stand By Your Man, Lemmy and Wendy. Isn't that cool? And look, where are they now? Isn't that sad? Look, where are they now? That's been so sad. That's why these magazines and revisiting them are cool. They got some rare photos you can't find on the internet, but through me. So if you want to look at these magazines and see what's in them, at least, remember, you can buy all these magazines. You should be able to on eBay. Just type in these magazine titles. There's always someone out there selling magazines. Right? Just type in Kerrang 1981, Kerrang 1994. Someone's got magazines out there. You want to pay for it, go for it. Right, look at this prototype Hamer guitars. Remember? Oh, look at this. So this is 299 pounds back in 1982. That was a lot of money. $300 was a lot of money back then. I thought so. But this is a prototype Hamer. All right. So let me know your thoughts. I know that who this is. I can't read that. I can't read this print. Looks like Meatloaf. But who's that? All right, look. This must be the end of the page. It is. Classic cuts for y'all right now, and here we go. Look at this. Let's see what it's saying right there. Ba-boom. Gillen? Is that Gillen? Let me know if that's Gillen. I can't tell. Alright, so that is the end of this issue. And here again was the beginning. Let me know what you thought about Robert Plant as a solo artist. Remember, he had some good hits. versus with Led Zeppelin. And let me know about these bands. Journey, Randy, California. Have you heard of Randy, California? The Rods, Free, Riot. Again, I will visit these bands on YouTube. After this video, I'm going to check them out. So that'll be fun. So I'm sure this interview must have been pretty good on Robert Plant. I'll be more than happy to read it out loud and have another segment like that, reading interview. All right. So that's it. Thank you for joining me. That was issue number 18 of Kerrang! Of June 17th of 1982. Let me know your thoughts on this issue. Do you have it? Do you remember it? And what are your thoughts on these bands? All right. Thank you for joining me. Any questions, comments, or feedback, leave them below. Any requests, leave them below. And stay tuned for more videos of 80s heavy metal. Bringing you the best of 80s heavy metal here at KGTR. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Let's go. Let's go. Hey, look, takes the wig off.
I say
what's up? All right, I'll see you folks in the next video. See ya.